Tomato MMM. Hello. How is everybody? There's many people. I looked at chat and there was no one there yet. And I thought, oh, sorry, there's still time for people to turn up and all that. And I looked away and then I turned back and then all of a sudden 7 people were chatting. It's like, oh God. You all arrived at once. Hello! Hazel still doesn't quite get the finer points of speech. That's not her job. Hang on. Everybody's here. How are we all doing? There's a Kiro, there's a Christy, there's Dark, there's Kiro again. It's a Chip. And the Miss. Oh, Miss is not here. Miss is not here. Avert your eyes. There's a Kiro, and then there's also a Kiro. This is why it's a Kiro and not the Kiro. For there are multitudes, which the world is better off. Okay, let's get some nice music. Oh no, I can't see the music's in the way. Oh, music. Nice. I was just thinking before this starts, I might need to learn something on the ukulele for later on in this draw-through. But, are there multiple yous? Because it can only make the world a better place. You are legion. For you are many. Keeps claiming another identity. You can't claim them all. Do it, learn it. You know I'm not going to learn it seriously. I'm going to learn it all spoonerized or something stupid. Anyway. Hi. How are we all doing? Welcome back to whatever this is. I don't know what this entails. Many is the time. Miss has been watching a playthrough of this, as they already know how it goes, and keeps messaging me saying, "I don't know. God knows how you're gonna draw this." To which I respond, "Me neither." But to catch them all, I wouldn't understand. No. Yeah. So we're back to Columbia. We're back to Bioshock Infinite. You're very curious. So am I. We may encounter one of those today. You like all of the redacted bit. There will be, probably this stream, there will be our first redacted bit.
I won't be able to open them.
Yeah. We still haven't, you managed to bypass the first locked door. So we still haven't really encountered a locked door yet. So we will do, definitely, but yeah. So let's hop on over to here, to the very cloudy Columbia, and recap what's happened so far. In the beginning, there was Jack, and Jack was in a boat with some people who were strange, and they went to a lighthouse in order to. The words, I believe, were written on a piece of card. Bring us the girl and wipe away the dead. That is our objective. And so we go to the lighthouse. The lighthouse shot us up into the air into a floating city called Columbia. And we got baptized / drowned to get inside. It seems to be quite a pious place. In the beginning, there was Jack. That's not how you remember the Bible. Well, you never know in this world. This is a strange alternate universe with floating cities. Maybe the Bible does start with that. But yeah, we go through, and after being baptized, I'm immediately given a letter, for I'm a small child, a telegram, which gives us more instructions, which say, seek Monument Island, don't let Jefferson know you're here, whatever you do, don't pick number 47, F. Locksman. Jefferson, we have seen from a poster on our first arrival. I think I wrote Lord Jefferson, which is not inaccurate. They do refer to him as a lord, but I think it's probably more accurate to call him Father Jefferson. Jeff Jefferson, indeed. Seems to be the sort of prophet savior of this place. It says that they raised them from the Sodom below into their new Eden, which is presumably Columbia. So yeah, we wander around for a bit. What do we do? We listen to a barbershop quartet singing a lovely barbershop quartet rendition of God Only Knows. Then we look through some binoculars to see a couple of people. One juggling, one unimpressed by the juggling. We go into a shop and do not steal the money. Important. We find a mechanical horse. This place has mechanical wonders beyond the age. Remember, this is 1918, I think, something like that. We then see a stage of Gregorus Terminide's vigors and a couple of little demon people demonstrating some strange magical abilities. Sorry, the 1918s. My apologies. Little demon friends having a good time. So yeah, like levitating one another, setting themselves on fire, doing all sorts of weird stuff. We also we find a free sample of one of these vigors, which makes us see ghosts, which is nice. We then go to another place. There's a big fair going on, by the way. Lots of people having fun, children smoking cigarettes. It's a time. Freyman's here. Wonderful. Yes, and we see the handyman, which is a sort of I guess it's proposed to be a disability aid, where like, hey, we could just stick you in a robot, and oh, the OBS is just disconnected. Wonderful. Oh no. Freyman, what have you done? Attempting to reconnect. Ah, internet, isn't it a wonderful thing? Immediately communicate with anybody. This is just for people watching the VOD, okay? Hi, how you doing? Hope you're having a lovely time. Yeah. Is it good in the future? Hope it's nice in the future. At the moment, things are a little... They're not as on fire as they have been in recent years, but any day now could just explode again. So I'm hoping future, hoping we're not full-on Terminator style. That would be unpleasant. I think Terminator's set in the future, isn't it? Maybe Back to the Future, something like that. Not sure. Oh, hang on. OBS is reconnected. Fantastic. There we are. My internet is unstable. That's Freyman for you. Hi. No, my internet died, apparently. This has been happening intermittently through the week, for which I apologise. Is anybody there? Can anybody hear me? My internet... Ooh. And now I've dropped my stylus. This is going exceptionally well. What a beginning. You can hear me. Oh, no. That wasn't the plan. Unsubscribbles now.
The door is covered in a hostile strain of starfish.
That would explain nothing. Actually, that raises more questions. You stop watching an ad. Oh, dear. Well, I'll wait until people have been through ads. Bloody Twitch ads, honestly. Hostile strain of starfish. That sounds like the other Bioshock. Broken internet is covered in starfish. It's an undersea cable. That's how you're getting to see all of this. Hostile strain of starfish. Not genus, not species. A strain. Don't know what that means. It's still telling me my stuff is unstable, but it does seem to be... I haven't dropped any frames since I've come back. So, is this working? I don't know. Is it working? Hello? Hello? Don't fall asleep. We're still here. We're still going. I started this with energy and purpose, and now we've got to keep going. Chrome just died. My internet died. Don't worry. Or your Chrome might have died as well. I don't know. It is entirely possible the internet, it's not like everybody takes a turn. It's not like jury duty. Today, your internet's going to be bad. British internet. Yeah. Yeah, we saw the Gregorus Terminide's handyman, the big old robot suit body for people who otherwise can't move by their own strength. Just decides when the internet's going to be bad. I don't decide nothing. I'm told by a letter in the mail. We then find a shooting gallery where we are told, shoot the Vox Populi. You'll get bonus points if you hit, what was it? Jeffelin Beaverworth, apparently. Completely forgot about that. Yeah, shoot the Vox Populi. Suddenly it was just not enough memory, had to restart everything. Ooh, weird. British internet. We don't have no E's over here. Can't even say E. Forgot Jeff Limbingsworth. So did I. But I'm sure that name will never come up again, so it's fine. Thereafter, we find entrance to something or other, which requires tickets. We don't have a ticket, but we do have ghosts. And ghosts allow us to confuse machines into doing what we want. And so we just wrap ghosts around the machine and say, let us in. And it goes, sure. Thereafter, we find the people that we saw juggling. And they invite us to flip a coin. Heads or tails. It was under Chibi's instruction that we chose tails. Unfortunately, it was heads. Heads was marked on the board as a possibility, and then they wandered off, demonstrating that they have done this experiment a few times. And that was that. Always thought it was odd they just give it away as a free sample. I mean, also previously we walked into a shop and just like all the money was just sort of there, and it said, pay for the things that you want to buy. I'm at the fair. Bye. It's a very open and trusting society. Right, so we walk in, and there are several things going on. That's a good Muppet parsnip there. We continue. And we see a few things. There is... What do we see? There is a big old statue. I'm going to need the colour that I've been using. Something along those lines. Also, we once again, I'm using the Grim Fandango soundtrack because it's the best approximation I have to the Bioshock one without actually being the Bioshock one, because copyright. Or more accurately, because of YouTube's copyright algorithm. Yeah, so we see off in the distance there's a few things going on. There's like a green area where everyone's sort of crowded around a stage. There's a big statue, there's some posters, and there's a couple of policemen in the corner looking at a thing. So I'll leave it up to you what you want to go and look at first. There's the stage with lots of people around it, there's the poster, there's a massive statue, and then there's a couple of policemen. Want to look at the poster? Want to vote for poster? Again, we're not too far away from the point where there aren't many choices anymore. there are points in the game where you're like, oh, you could go in here if you want, you can do that. But generally speaking, at the moment, we're just setting up the world. So there's a lot of exploration. Oh, I've got to reset my bot as well. That died. There we go. Yeah, it's working now. Happy turnip. Cool. Is it a poster for Googles of the Galaxy? Favorite 1918s movie? No, it's not, alas. It is a poster. With, I've just realised this is a problem for me personally, because it involves drawing a hand. And I'm just struggling to draw a straight line, so... Lord knows how that's gonna go. Yeah, it's got this sort of, like, big old hand on it. Like, big like, kind of claw hand. It's like, sharp nails and things like that. Evil hand! The hand of a demon, if ever I saw one. It even has 4 fingers, which is very unusual for this drawing style. This is a rough approximation of a hand. It's supposed to look a bit weird and twisted, so I'm fine. It's also in red. Sort of like evil colours and such. Demon hand. Did we get to see the cigarette for kids poster? I talked about the video thing. I can't remember what they're called in the actual game, but you just get your hand immediately like it. It's so rare. It's so good when it happens though, isn't it? They're not going subtle with the religion theme, are they? Absolutely not. The poster says, beware. The false shepherd. Is herd? This is like herd, isn't it? There's no I feel like there should be an A in it, but I'm not sure. It's a sheep herd, so they should be spelled like that. Even if it isn't, it's fine. Beware the false shepherd, and on the hand, in order to tell that it is indeed the false shepherd, you can see the letters. BW. And they're all glowing red and evil stuff. Beware. Again, like avoiding spoilers in some capacity, I do recommend looking up the all the art for this game. These posters are very well designed and such. Shepherd. You follow Crossroad Arts character shopping everywhere. Lovely. Yeah. And this is just sort of stuck up on a wall. I actually think it's a pillar. I missed it. I've added an alert sound and I still miss it. Yeah, I think it's a pillar. Sort of walk through an area and there's like a pillar. That's irrelevant. It was a studious potato. Oh, interesting. Let's draw Jack doing the only thing Jack appears to do, which is stand and look at things. For now. What's the outfit? It's been a week. Haven't really drawn people. Or Shepherd if you want to talk Stargate Atlantis. True, good point. Got his little waistcoat. I'm trying to remember the outfit. This is my little warm-up for... A lot of streamers will probably do a warm-up before the stream, but, you know, I'm lazy, so it's got nothing to do with the fact that I lost track of time sewing my drawing glove. But it's all in one piece now, so that's good. Hello, you were getting dinner. Hi. Are we following Crossroads Arch Shepherds? Maybe. Anyway, Jack takes this opportunity to observe that on the back of his hand are the letters BW. How does a hand work? He's like, well, it's clearly not my hand, so I have 3 fingers. Is that kind of... How does that work? Sort of. You get the idea. His arms are so long. Don't worry about it. Also, he needs a bigger head. So yeah, he has that. It's not glowing red or anything. It's just like a scar, but it's there. Long arms for swinging for the sky. We'll get there. Yeah. So that's good. He's famous. Well, that's a poster. What else do you want to see? What else was there? There were some policemen, there's a stage with lots of people around it, and there's a big old statue. Different to the one you ignored earlier. Obviously, because we're in a different place. But it could be the same statue. Let's see the same person in the statue. Want to see the statue? Can do! Right, well. Let me draw the statue. The statue's over here now. This is like the edge of the balcony. Which is going to require me to make this a lot smaller, actually, because the statue's pretty big. Okay, so the statue. What's the statue of? It is of a woman. Statue of a statue. How would you tell? How would you ever tell that a statue is actually of a statue? A woman? No, a woman. And female. And underneath, there's a little bench, so you can go sit by it. And on the bench is a audio recording, which you may listen to. And the audio recording is of a little girl who has left a message, seemingly for the person the statue is of, whose name I'm actually going to have to ask you. Well, we've got the surname, which is Locksman. However, I am going to need a first name beginning with F, which is the initial you chose at the beginning. So good job on F and not choosing X. Actually, there are statues of statues. Ancient Roman people made statues of ancient Greek statues, and you can usually tell by the weird, awkward supports, because marble, which the Romans used, is more fragile and therefore needs more support than the Greeks didn't have. Fanart. You're not going to propose a name? Yeah, I mean, it makes it tricky for me, that name. Which is decidedly not a name, no, of course. Whereas Jeffabell, or whatever the... Jeffabell Beaver Smith, or whatever we ended on with... is a perfectly sensible choice. Flora? Oh, that's a nice name, Flora. There's probably some sort of interesting pose going on, but... You know me, everything's square as far as I'm concerned. Flat perspectives, thank you! Like the butter! Didn't think 2 looked right. Yeah. That kind of looks like you're censoring it if you use 2 of them. A margarine? Well, if you want to get technical, it's a vegetable spread. Margarine, I don't think, is legal anymore. We've just gotten used to calling anything that isn't butter but looks like butter margarine. Tea is a horrible letter. It's a grave insult in Britain, which is why which is why they skip over it and censor it in their right. Yeah. Are we going with Flora? I'm happy with Flora. Christopher. That's why I go by Crispy. Trying to avoid that letter altogether. Just Miss Art. See, that works. You like Flora? She deserves a nice name. Yeah. Cool. Flora Locksman. And a little picture of a flower. Just to make up space. Yeah, and there's a little audio log here, sort of left behind by a little girl, who's basically leaving a letter to Flora. I don't know how the girl thinks that... Oh, by the way, there was a booth back in the fair where you get to learn about these audio blog things that they make, but it's not interesting. It's a tape recorder, but it's like, oh, it's 1918, so this is interesting. Don't question child logic. It's like Santa. Anyway, she's like, oh, Flora, I look up to you. You're amazing. You're like a woman and a scientist. I want to be just like you when I grow up. And I don't know if it says it in the thing. Royalty. Floroyalty. Again, it looks nicer than that. But actually, no, hang on. It's not a tape thing, is it? I think it's a vinyl. I think it's got like a big old vinyl on it, and then there's like a needle sort of thing. It might even be a wax cylinder, I don't know. A woman and a scientist? Impossible! And I think there's something on the legend underneath the statue that mentions that it's like, she is the person who made the city float, basically. Sideways vinyl, it's locked in place, I guess. And I guess you'd use a spring for the needle so that it doesn't just flop around. It could work. Yeah, so this is a statue of Flora Locksman, who is the person who made the city float, and who at least one young girl looks up to as a role model. And this is why Doctor Who, being female, is good. What else? There's a couple of policemen and the little stage surrounded by people. The little newsreel about her making the city float. I can't remember precisely what that entails. Oh, doesn't it make pains to mention that she's quite a private person and sort of locks herself away? Locksman says it's physics. We said it's more like women's intuition. That's it. Oh dear. It's 1918. Like, if I'm not gonna don't want to spoil the mood of this game, but if you're gonna be surprised by that, you've got a lot of what's coming up. So yeah, this is, yeah. I forgot about the women's issue. I should definitely have remembered that. That's very funny. That's no. Again, we will learn more about what this society values as we go on. No, it's the 1918s. My apologies. Yeah, so evidently I'm going to have to, during my playthrough, I'm going to have to be more cognizant of all of the news things, all of the little video things going around and all of the audio logs, because if I don't remember, Miss is going to pick me up on it. Yeah, where do we want to go? There's a stage and the policeman's. 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 I believe they are men, yeah. You mean you guess it's also American? Because 1918's aka World War I meant the women were outworking the men. Yeah, during the two world wars. Naturally, sending all of the men to fight. Women are gonna have to do all the other jobs, and that's when women managed to prove, hey, look, we can do the jobs. And then after the war, we're like, no, it's fine. And then it took ages to get back to normal again. Well, not normal, but what we call normal. The audio logs and new stuff is one of your favorite things in these games. It's great. I was just trying to get it all sort of like get the basic gist of it, because I'll forget everything. But evidently, I've got to up my game. Got to put in the effort. But yeah, it's remembering that this game is set in America. Well, it's set above America, let's be honest. Something after World War I, women were like, you want us to go back to our homes like housewives? So the only reason this country's still running. You're going to let us keep our jobs. New Game Plus audio logs? 2 to 1 now? Are there new audio logs in New Game Plus? I will say one thing that I did quite like, because I did watch a few of them and listen to a few of the bits and bobs, and I'm like, it makes sense now. And then, they didn't, because men needed jobs, but hey, they tried. It took a while, but we're getting there. So you were making a goof. I don't know. Maybe. This isn't the sort of game I play more than once in one go. Fun though well, actually, I did try and speedrun it for a bit, but, that's a thing. There was one skip I could never get. Gotta get over a gate by falling off a thing and then aiming at the right time, and you could never get it. Can you imagine going somewhere and seeing your hand all over the walls when you've never been there? Yeah, it's a bit weird. Well, it's not your hand because it's got 4 fingers and it's all demony. But it is conspicuous. That it has the same initials. It's also during after World Wars that women got, you know, the right to vote and everything. Yeah. Not everything. Yeah. I mean, we're still kind of getting there with that one. Eventually. Well, hopefully eventually. Anyway. And only like rich white upper class women. Yeah, exactly. If you own land, or if your father owned land, then it's fine. Common folk? Pfft. Yeah, what did you say? Yeah. Is the music still playing? It is, good. Yeah, policeman or stage. I'll flip a coin. I bet it will come up heads. I don't have a coin. Who has coins? Where's my souls jar? You have a coin? Where is my souls jar? I don't know. I've lost my souls jar. Does the roll thing still work? Yeah, it should do. Hey, we'll go. You got heads. We should have probably worked out what heads and tails was before we did that. It's heads. Well, stages don't have heads. You go on a stage with top hat and tails. So, but the policemen, they have heads. Which is going to be important, actually. So I'm going to go to the police. This is what they call foreshadowing. Okay, so, what's when? Don't worry about it. The policemen have heads, that's all you need to know. I have no idea what their uniforms look like.
This is fine.
This is fine. Don't worry about it. This one has a mustache. Like that. Anyway, they're just having a nice little chat. They're very excited. Because one of them has got a new gadget. And he's showing it off to his friend. He's also got a very small mouth. Look at this guy. Again, I don't know what the uniform entails. He's just like, hey, look, I got this. The issue thing. It's what's it called? Skyhook? I think it's called. And you may very well recognize it from the little gun game that you did. All of the Vox Populi were swinging around. Well, they were obviously just bits of cardboard being pulled around, but they appeared to be hanging on to a sort of big old, essentially zip lines, but they were holding on to this little gadget thing. And he's like, hey, look at this, I finally got a good one. Looking them up, you forget that what would be considered dress uniform was just normal in those times. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do something like that. He now looks like an ice cream salesman. Kirsty! Hello! Skyhook, aka multi-tool. The multi-tool? Anyway, so I grab onto it, and it sort of looks like that, and then there's a sort of thing that pops out like that, and then like a circular bit, and then just like a bunch of hooks. Sort of like that. And the idea being is that there are like service lines in the sky that connect multiple floating platforms, and you can just sort of grapple onto them and then slide around. And it allows people to move around real quick. And he's like, hey, I got my new one, it's great. Looks something like that. Your standard grappling hook then. It's I want to say it's not strictly speaking a grappling hook. It doesn't extend or anything, it's just on your hand. But we'll get to that. It's got a very big jacket. He does also have a gun. His jacket's too big for him. It's very broad, but very short. And so he ends up needing a really big jacket. But it ends up being too long for him. As convenient as that is, it requires you to not be afraid of heights. Yes. It doesn't extend. No. It's just like how when people in action movies use clothing hangers going down the wire. Kind of, yeah. But there's sort of... There is a powering mechanism that just makes you sort of grind along it, in some sense. It's not really well explained. And this is Officer not appearing in this film. Who is the friend who does not contribute anything to this conversation other than to be somebody to be talked to? Although Miss will probably remember a very interesting part of the conversation. They'll probably say something interesting about the Vox Populi and how they also seem to have a lot of these hooks. They keep stealing them. Which is why you had the game about them being on the wires. So not appearing in this film. He's just talking to a mannequin. He's just really excited about his new thing he wanted to tell someone. You have never met these men, you don't know what they say. Again, it's optional. To be announced. We'll work out who it is later. Actually, we might not work out who it is later, but we will see them later. Now that I think about it. His colleague left this mannequin and moved on and they didn't notice. Oh. I like this guy. Seems nice. In which case, we will not be meeting this character again. Anyway, this leaves the stage. So we go to where there's a stage. It's in a nice little enclosed sort of courtyardy sort of area. Meet them. No. And ooh dear. Been doing some radial symmetry stuff apparently. There's like a curtain. And lots of people standing around, which you're going to have to take my word for, because I'm not drawing that. Yeah, and there's like bushes around here. This is a long grass. You remembering a Jackie Chan movie where he eats out of a clothing line or something with something stupid? Fun movie times. Yee. Middle school theatre. It's got that. It's a kind of small pop-up stage sort of thing. Actually, maybe it's a bandstand. I don't know. It's something like that. It's got a curtain, so I'm going to call it a stage. Feels like it would fit a bandstand sort of vibe. But then again, apparently bands fly around on hover vehicles, so maybe not. Right. So we arrive. We arrive here. There's lots of people. It's very exciting. Everyone's excited because there's a raffle. A raffle's about to happen. Who doesn't love a raffle? And one of the first raffles I ever participated in, I won 2 things. Inexplicably. And have never won anything again. Just looking forward to the art. I wouldn't get that excited. I'll find ways around it. So, right. Yeah, we get to the raffle. And we are informed that this is a raffle by a person. We're going to stand here. Let's say. Yeah, we are approached. I mean, we know what we look like, so maybe I just... He says, carrying on doing tiny details. I don't know what we look like. This is a first-person game, so the precise nature of our appearance doesn't matter all that much. Especially when the apparent in-character model looks absolutely nothing like the front cover art. So I think it's easy for myself. No, never. Hard mode, please. This is 1818 mode or whatever it's called in the game. Found like an empty holster because our gun fell into a fire. So inconvenient. I will get quick at drawing this outfit, I assure you. Got to do the patented shrug. Every character I draw's got to do it at some point. If I ever do crispy trading cards, they're just going to be all the characters shrugging. No, they're gonna be all dynamic, interesting pieces of art. But then there are going to be the rare, shiny ones that are all shrugging. We look like a standard male video game protagonist. Uncharted man. Yeah, exactly. That's what we've got. Which is why we've decided to call this character Jack Walters. That's who we picture for every male video game protagonist at various ages and level of gruff. Yeah, we've got we've got quite the gruff going on with this character. I'm not, this character sounds quite sort of done with it, generally speaking. Right, okay. This is close enough. So old, it's Joel from The Last of Us. We're not that old, I can't... I don't know. Late 30s, early 40s probably? Early 40s? 40s, I'd say. Early 40s. I don't know. Hugh Jackman is every male video game protagonist. Yeah, I'll go with that. Seems good. Anyway, we're wandering through and we are accosted. Accosted, I say. By a lady. Who looks suspiciously similar to the person who was handing out drinks earlier, but probably isn't. They probably reused the model, to be fair. Yeah. Some sort of hair thing going on. But instead, this time, instead of handing around drinks, she has a basket. Never trust a woman with a basket. Albatross. Either he or No the North, via Drake, or every male video game protagonist. Yeah. Hugh Jackman, as voiced by the mixed voice of Troy Baker and Nolan North. Anyway, she says, "Hey, you wanna pick your raffle number?" To which we say, "Oh, we haven't entered the raffle. We don't have it. We're not gonna pay any money or anything like that." She says, "Don't worry, the raffle's free." Silly so and so. And she sort of goes, she foists the basket in our face, forces us to pick for the raffle, which is just a bunch of baseballs in a basket. Is that how raffles work? It does here. I don't know what she's wearing. Probably again a similar outfit to before. So big old skirt. Hooray for hooray for conservative attitudes when it comes to art. I don't have to draw feet. There's always a silver lining, you know. On the one hand, an entire half of the population have no rights and are repressed and not allowed to do anything and are basically subservient to the other half of the population. But on the other hand, don't have to draw legs. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. Yeah, so we reluctantly, cross-eyedly, pick a ball from the thing, and we pick, what ball do we pick? Why, you wouldn't guess it. It's ball number 47. Isn't that exciting? Let's hope we win the raffle, eh? Who even says they have legs? Could be some snake people under the skirts. Ooh, Gwendolyn. Diana. Yeah, hitman might be an appropriate piece of terminology for this scene. Does the ball have a smooth egghead? I mean, it's a baseball, so sure. The stitching is a barcode. Agent 47 would never. Anyway, on stage comes a very excitable man in a top hat. I think I might be wrong. I think this might be old Gregorus Termini himself. Snake oil salesman to the stars. Not your Gregory, no, Gregorus, obviously, different. And he's like, ah, welcome to the raffle, everybody! Come on, come all, etc., etc. He's like, it's time to draw the winner of this year's raffle. And he invites, maybe her? I don't know, somebody, up onto the stage to pick the winning number from a separate basket, because if you picked it from the same basket, no one would win. That's how partitions work, I guess. Gregor's Termini. They're very excited. Eyebrows over the hat. He does have a moustache, doesn't he? I think it might even be bigger than this. I think it might be quite sort of... Oh, Gregorus Termini. Him small. Yeah, he invites... I do remember one line of dialogue specifically from this scene. Which is, he invites girl up onto the stage to pick the number from the basket that they're carrying. And he says, isn't this just the prettiest white girl in all of Colombia? So there's a line I can just throw out there. I don't know what's going on with this. Did you just have a normal tie? I don't know. Might be a fancy thing. He's gonna have the tails. Flapping in the wind. If you're gonna wear tails, top hat and tails, it's got to be flapping in the wind. You've got to have somebody carrying a fan. Keep it going. Is that the end of the music? It is indeed. More. Yep. I said you'd have some watting to be doing, Chippy. Yeah, and he picks the number, and guess what it is? Do you want to take a guess? Anybody in chat? Guess what number was picked for the winner of the raffle? Straight past Watton to excuse me. Well, make sure you've still got room. If you're at the end of the runway, you might not know where to go next. 69? It's not 69. Is there any significance in the original game as to what the number actually is? Or was it just a random number? Somebody in the office went, what number are we going to do? I don't know, that one. It's not 420, not 007? Close, though. It is the number of an agent. You have no idea. at all. How do fingers work? Whatever, that's roughly a hand. 74. Ooh, close. It was at 73. Fingers usually have bones in them. Oh, that's the problem. So it's like a kind of big old sort of bit there, like bits poking out, and then like there's a bit for a nose, and like down there's like teeth. None of that. The body horror comes later. Anyway, Gregoris Termini is not, sorry, Gregoris Termini. It's not the star attraction of this show because he pulls out the number that wins the raffle, and it is indeed the number 47, the number that we were warned in a telegram not to pick because we're an idiot. Which number? I was just asking about the number in the original game. As it happens, the number in the original game is 77. Why did we pick 47? We just picked a ball out of the thing. We could have put it back, but we chose not to. You now have enough information to understand all of the comics in my outliers why we didn't finish Bioshock Infinite comic from ages ago. Why did we participate in a raffle of which we don't know the prize? But we're about to find out the prize. I believe the expression was, winner gets the first throw. So now I have to draw what's on the stage. The curtains are pulled back. This is going to be, I'm going to say a delicate operation. Not one I will necessarily succeed at. Oop, that's bad. That's not the button I wanted to press. There we go. What we find on stage are a bunch of cardboard cutouts in a sort of jungle scenery aesthetic, I'm going to say. Got a cartoony sort of jungly sort of thing. So there's like jungle trees and stuff like that. And then there's like cardboard cutouts of monkeys, cartoon monkeys. Wearing clothes. And then they got heads. They're like grabbing onto the trees and stuff like that. Now, for various reasons, I think let's just do this one. This one is dressed vicariously, by which I mean like a vicar. And is holding out a box with like a wedding ring in it. This feels Victorian cursed. It is rather. And this is why I'm going to use my first example of the redacted bars. These are not just monkeys. These are... should we say racial caricatures? For between the cardboard cutouts are two people. Looking rather haggard and distressed. Or they do appear to be tied up. The game was bold. We have on the right, we have a... Well, let's not beat around the bush. We have a white man. And we have a black lady. And you, as Jack Walters, have the first throw. What would you like to do with it? This is why I wanted to introduce the concept early on of, hey, I'm gonna color some stuff based on tone, just so it's obvious what's going on. I apologize if it feels a little on the nose, but I feel for the purposes of the narrative that I'm trying to explain, I'm not a good enough artist to communicate any other way. So, shouldn't have picked the ball. Shouldn't have picked the ball. The man, just for some flavor text, is saying, you know, just take me, I'm the one you want, don't hurt her, etc. I don't know if the woman's saying anything other than just screaming. They're just sort of being wheeled out into the front of the stage. Can you throw it at Minnie? That is one of the options. You get first throw, they're never specified. This is a really weird thing to say during this scene. Are they a couple? That's the implication. And this society don't like that sort of thing. This is why there is a horrible caricature of a monkey with a wedding ring. Couple in a sinful relationship. So yeah, there are 3 options. Well, no, I think there are 4 options here. Throw at bride, throw at groom, throw at this guy, or just, it's a timed event, so you can just leave the clock to tick down. Caps lock isn't loud enough for your homes. This is why I said leave room. But yeah, I actually really like the way this game sets this up, because, like, there are bits and pieces here of, like, this is not a forward-thinking society and so on and so forth, but generally speaking, this is quite a, everyone's having a good time, it's a pleasant place, so on and so forth, and then, boom! Right in your face. Contrast. This stuff happened back in the day. Very well done for hammering the last nail into the coffin. Well, there's more nails to come. We've got a ball to throw. Or a pencil. And everyone's getting all excited. I appear to have deleted your face. I apologize. That wasn't meant to happen. I'm sorry. It's thematically appropriate though. Spoilers. Kick Termini's ass into the moon. Make Termini an outcast of society and feel the pain. Alas, this is not Dishonored. Can't send him to work in his own mine. More on that later. Yeah, okay, so we're going to choose to throw it at Termini, I guess. Termini. Gregoris Termini. This is why I was said, you know, hey, let's not get Grigori's name mixed into this. Gregoris is not Grigori. The ball so hurt his face. Never be allowed in town again. Well, but wait, hang on. Let me get the pose of this right. Hey, look, it's Jack's doing something other than standing still. Unfortunately, he's trying to throw a ball, so it's like I've got to work out how that works. You forgot till you watched the walkthrough and like, oh, yep, you remember now. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like a ball throwing thing. Suddenly buff. His arms got so much thicker. It's the Brad syndrome. Don't worry about it. Eventually you'll learn that I'm just a really inconsistent artist. But until that day, I have anatomy to forget. But yeah, Jack goes real hard on the wind up. But that's nice. So yeah, I'll be using the redacted bars a few times in this playthrough, because while when you're, you know, making the game and trying to create this society in a believable fashion, it's obviously understandable to make art assets of that sort of thing. I think for the purposes of a jolly draw through, let's just not. Let's just not. I can tell that story without having to draw horrible caricatures. Just know that they're there. You know, currently stuck in sports anime hell, specifically baseball sports anime hell. Look out for a ball with the number 47 on it. I've been looking at pictures of football players for pose reasons, and they're just impossible. Yeah, it's like conductors and wizards. Got a bit of a... I can't remember his name. What's my character's name in Wildermyth? Wilford? Something. Wilford Brimley, was it? Get a bit of those eyes going on. Wilmouth, that's it. Sports people move in ways that they shouldn't be able to. I love freeze frames. There was I was recommended a video on YouTube about like a javelin world record that apparently just can't be broken for some reason or other. I didn't watch the video. But I just looked at the arm while throwing the javelin, and I'm like, that doesn't look healthy. So the arms shouldn't do that. Wilmouth, ye. Also, I have music over the stream, so I missed the harvest. There's a reason football players' knees suddenly aren't where the knees should be mid-game. Studious Tato. That was the one I missed earlier, evidently. And craft snip. It's the craft man. That's not how the hand should go. It should be that way around. Something like that, and then he's got his sleeveys up his armies. Also, that's a lot shorter, isn't it? So yeah, Jack's giving it a good old college try. I believe that's the expression. Snap at Wilmot's face. It's the Craftman, who apparently this year is going to do a bunch of animation. They released a video earlier today. It's like, hey, I'm going to focus on animating. Like, yeah, good for you. E. I need to make a Wilmoth snap. Nobody here knows what we mean by Wilmoth. Wilmoth is a character I made in Wildermyth, and he's having a good time. Is that how things work? Sure. Anyways, like, take this, you son of a bad thing. Wilmus is in love with the most poetic idiot around, yes. The idiot husbands, they're idiots in their own ways. Constantly sounds like he's yawning, cannot read and works in the library. I think he helped found the library or something. He also has a poet boyfriend who can't read. Nobody can read. The library squad, 1 of 4 of them can read. The rest just deal with late fees. Yeah, Fear can read. But Fear's got her own idiot stuff going on. She just ran off one day for a dream. I had this dream. Goodbye. What? But hey, at least Wilmoth didn't turn into a werewolf. It's fine. You can, yeah, cheap can read. It just takes twice as long. You successfully read it the first time, you just decide you need to double check. Yeah, Fizz also disappeared because of a dream, so the library squad only has 1 person that can now read. It's fine. Wildermyth is a good game. Everybody play Wildermyth. Particularly with friends. Do voices. Passing on information orally could count as literacy. I mean, in this world, there might even be something that you can record your voice onto. You know, that could go in a library. It does seem to be mostly books, but I wouldn't put it past some sort of weird voice shriving stone or something. Which reminds me, I got Dishonored on Saturday. Everyone play Wildermyth. It has 5-player co-op. Yeah, it's a good time. Anyway, before we have the opportunity to actually get some sort of catharsis and hit what's-his-face, and Policeman, not the nice one from before, a different one, grabs us by the arm, because hey, guess what they noticed about our hand that we were about to throw a ball with? They noticed that we have some letters on our hand. No catharsis here, this is Bioshock. Not yet, anyway. We just have a weird birthmark. It just happens to be in the shape of a thing that your culture has prophesied as being the false prophet. Don't worry about it. False shepherd, sorry, not false prophet. Lost prophet? I was about to sing a Lost Prophet song and I literally can't remember any of them. I'm now mixing them up with Good Charlotte. It's not good. This one's got big old eyebrows to distinguish him from the previous one, who's jolly and nice. And who has since retired. And he's like, hey! Look at this guy's hands. Why has nobody noticed before? It's when you go, when you've misplaced your bag, lost property. Although, to me, you didn't ruin your own joke. I got what you meant. But at the same time, Frofferty is funnier. Did you ruin your own joke or did you enhance it? Remains to be seen. Frofferty. Yeah, so everyone, they go, hey, look at this guy's hand. And everyone's like, oh, it's the false shepherd. And Mr. Termini comes up to us, well, after we've been grabbed by several policemen, walks up to us on the stage and says, wow, you know what that means? That means you're...
We don't have sheep.
We don't have... That's why you're the false shepherd. You have fake sheep. He goes, wow, you know what that means? So that means you're the no good cotton picking, rootin' tootin' false shepherd, etc. And this is bad, apparently. People don't like the false shepherd. It's not a good thing. He's got his skyhook, which is bad because they don't like us now. And that thing looks dangerous. At least we're not racist. Yeah, if you don't, this is now the time that I could probably reveal that if you don't really like the exploration of racism in your games, this ain't the Drawthrough for you. I love how drawing has made me realize just how ornamented clothing is, only in our upper half. You have so much fancier tops than we do trousers. Or even skirts. So it's dresses and skirts you can argue a little bit more, but even then there tends to be more ornamentation at the top. Fancy shoes, probably the best you're gonna get. Or socks, colourful socks. So yeah, we are apprehended by several policemen, and they decide to take action by putting this skyhook thing spinning really, really fast right by your face, which is not ideal, all things considered. Actually, hang on, let's save a little bit of time here. Go back here. Hello, Officer TBA. You have another scene. Oops. TBA missed us like a hole in the face, indeed. And so facing near, well, we're a protagonist, so I was about to say facing certain death. No, this is facing the pretense of certain death, but being a video game protagonist, you are naturally inclined to not believe it. What do we do when there's spinning jaws of death coming towards you? Well, it's very straightforward, really. I missed it. Bugger. I can draw this in a little diorama down here. I don't need to give you too much detail. Basically, Jack grabs the hand of one of the policemen and shoves the spinning blades of death into the face of another one. This is not advantageous for their face. This is going to be another one of those occasions where I do this. Not for racism this time, but for just sheer over-the-top gore, blood, violence. This is the second occasion that this game made me appreciate its build-up, because everything's been very nice and fanciful so far. No violence, no anger, no nothing. And then all of a sudden, big spinning blades in her face. Yeah, this game goes from 0 to 700,000 in about 10 seconds. This is it's like bits of face coming off of it. It's not good. It's not good. It's not a good time. This is when the game changes irrevocably from a third-person exploration game to a first-person shooter. Well, not shooter. You from this point on, you take the skyhook. That's now yours. Luckily, it was just a TBA face, so it's fine. Who knows whose face it could have been? Good thing we played that shooting gallery, yes. Welcome to Bioshock. Quite like exploring the racism in fantasy games where the intricacies and horribleness of humans are translated into something fictional. So one can go, oh right, that's how IRL, but real racism is tough. We will touch on, I mean, a lot of this is obviously fictional. A lot of this is sort of quite over the top, quite silly, but at the same time, very much based on things that did happen. But there are actually explicit things in this game that I mentioned that did happen in history, so bear that in mind. I will have to, before we get to that point, actually properly look these things up so that I do them due justice. That broke my brain. That combination of words. That was not an appropriate vegetable for the moment. I missed it. What was it? Was it a happy-go-lucky, hey, veggie? I was hoping for the one that has TBA written on it. Oh, the dancing happy veggie. But that's what's so good about this sequence, is this sequence would not work half as well were it not for the fact that everything up until this point has been very pleasant and lovely. With just little hints here and there of bits and pieces. So yeah, TBA doesn't have a face anymore, but we have a big old spinning hook on our hand, with which we fight a lot of policemen to get out of here. You can also, at this point, take over some gun turrets. They have like mechanized little robot gun turrets that are like, they look like soldiers with big guns, and you can fire ghosts at them and then make them yours, and they shoot the policemen. You kill like 50 policemen in this sequence. It's a lot. Which I'm not going to draw because I'm sure you can visualize it very well. Keep forgetting we can fire ghosts at things. Yes, magical powers are a thing in this. Again, this is a weird mishmash of stuff where it's like, on the one hand, they're doing a lot of serious social commentary, and on the other hand, you have ghosts that you can fire out of your hands to take over machines. And you got that from a free sample at a county fair. Oh, you wait, indeed. In fact, one of the next things that happens. So you go through the town, everyone's run away at this point. Fair's over. No one's having a good time anymore. Screams, the lot. And everyone's running around with the guns, shooting. You can eventually pick up pistols and stuff like that, pick up the policemen's guns. I think all you get at this point is like a you might get a machine gun. But you get a pistol, which is pretty good. You might get a machine gun. But you have your hook, trusty hook, that can do a lot of stuff. Etc, etc. But as you're going through, you hear people shouting for the fireman. Just people saying, "Oh, the fireman's coming! Everyone get ready, the fireman's coming!" So evidently things aren't going well. Everyone's in a bit bad mood. And so you open a gate into a courtyard sort of area. Whoop whoop. What are the firemen gonna do? There's a lot of a lot of Jack just sort of opening gates in this. Gonna poke his head through as he always does. In fact, he's gonna do it exactly the same way he did it last time. Only now he has hook hand car door. Man door, hook hand, car door.
The door is covered in a hostile strain of starfish.
Again? I thought we solved that. Then we got a gun now. Like a revolver, is it? It's not our trusty snub-nosed revolver, that's for sure. Something like that. Hair's not wet anymore. We might have a little bit of blood on us. Bound to happen. Anyway, the fireman cometh. Alas, slight miscommunication. I don't really know what this looks like, but suffice it to say, this isn't someone who puts out fires. The fireman is somebody who very much brings fire to the equation. So I'm just gonna give him a big old helmet. That's confusing. See, I was thinking about this as I was playing it, and I'm like, no, that makes more sense. We don't call policemen crime man. They're fire extinguishers is what they are. This one, though, very much raging ball of fire. They are very shouty. And they do sound like they're shouting through a metal helmet. And they got, like, strapped to their back, they got massive canisters of fuel, presumably. And there's, like, hoses going around and stuff. They're also on fire. Oh, that's not the lasso. So yeah, you get to this courtyard and it's on fire. It's just fire everywhere. They're on fire. Yeah. They remind you of the Fury, exactly. So they're bombs. Yes, they do explode. But only after you've heard them enough. They're very shouty. Why did they think this was going to solve? You. I thought this was going to solve the problem of you being here. They can also throw fire. Like balls of napalm, as it were. I imagine, again, these are sort of big old gloves or something. Which is an unusual capacity to have. And they can, like, put down big old fire traps. It's a sequence. It's a sequence where you fight this sort of mini-boss. Sort of thing. Like, in general, they were like, we need this place to be safer. Let's have people run around on fire, making fire happen everywhere. Problem with... Okay. The problem with Bioshock Infinite is that Bioshock did a lot of cool things, but it did it in a particular setting. Bioshock Infinite decided to change that setting, but keep the cool things. Like these sorts of weird sort of units that you fight and so on and so forth. I don't know what the in-universe application of this is supposed to be. Did they just have this sort of ready and waiting? Maybe. They saw you coming. They didn't know when, evidently, but they saw you coming. Yeah, I'm just gonna guess it's like big old metal plating or something. Big old boots. So yeah, the fireman or fireman. That was actually the first time I thought about the fireman. Hang on, fireman? Thing, which was there's a song by Sparks called Here Kitty, which is about a cat stuck in a tree and a fireman who rescues the cat, and the fireman gets a lot of attention from people whose cats get stuck in trees. But the way that they say fireman in that song, fireman or fireman, it's so far removed from like the cadence of fireman that I'm used to that it sounded like the man of fire. And I was like, what is this song about? Burning cats in trees, what's going on? And it took me an embarrassingly long period of time to realize, oh no, hang on, they mean a fireman. Not fireman, it's fireman. Please do not burn cats in trees. No. Also, if you do want to listen to the song Here Kitty, which I recommend in the weird Sparksy sort of way that I would recommend anything, because they're just strange, do bear in mind that basically all throughout the song there is a meowing cat. So, which can be distracting, particularly if you have a cat nearby. So yeah, you have a nice little fight with fireman or fireman, who then explodes when too much fire is done. Again, this is just like a street with houses and it's on fire. Very much, lots of fire. Because fireman just could not help himself. There's a bush here. It's on fire. The burning bush. Did I mention this is a religious game? You annoy Luna? Never. Luna needs love. No one else is gonna give love. Because she has the plague. Best way to save us from the false shepherd is to burn the whole city down. I mean, I was about to say it's not impossible that, you know, just switching off whatever's making one of the city sections fly is not a bad idea. There's a hollow snip. That hasn't got a face either. Oh, pop pop. I wanted to pick her up, and then she had her under the armpits and held her at arm's length while turning her face away. It's very funny. Poor plague rat. Yeah, see, I can't remember the Aladdin song well enough to replace Street Rat with Plague Rat, but I want to. Just know I want to. You're trying to trim Pooch's paws by wrapping him like a burrito today. You don't know how annoying you kitty just made you think of that. Oh. Burrito Pooch. Nope, can't think of a burrito dog pun. I mean, you were clipping his burritos, I guess. This is about as much as you're gonna get out of me, I'm afraid. So yeah, that happens. It's around about now that you discover. Well, I can draw that. They should be on the same layer. There we go. Burrito dog's very sweet but rough. Calm that out. But am I gonna do this? Sure. Yeah, so this is around about the time that you discover that these skyhook things, they don't extend. They're not grappling hooks. Which begs the question: how do you get to those rails that are just going around the sky? That's a good question, me. Answer: magnets. Magnets. How do they work? I don't know. Yeah, these are magnetized, which means that if you just sort of point it at one of the hooks in the sky, you just fly to it. It is easily one of the dumbest bits in the game. It's so stupid. But it is fun. From a gameplay standpoint, it's a good time. But yeah, it's just that's how you know that. That's how you do that. So that whole being afraid of heights thing, yeah, that's not gonna work out well for you. You're just suddenly rocketed. Like you go fast. Like this is not a slow ascent. You are snapping to this thing. Yeah, it kind of works. Just hold up your arm and you're off. Have it attached to your belt and walk too close to a fridge and whoops, you're stuck now. Yeah, I think it can be turned on and off, but I don't know how you jump off of these things. Your brother just called because he wanted to offer to pick up dinner, and you told him about this Drawthrough and where we are because he's played all the Bioshock games and DLC. And he was like, yeah, when he said where we are. Talk about the game series in a bit more too. Yeah. You need to play these games. You know what happens, but still, you need to play them. They are fun. These games are fun. I personally I played this first. I then went back and played Bioshock 1. I think Bioshock 1 is the better game, generally speaking, but I still have a lot of fondness for this. And this one definitely tries to, as you can see, tackle some interesting social ideas. Bioshock 1 also tries to tackle social ideas, but less... I was about to say less relevant. Maybe his recent political history, maybe he's slightly more relevant, but you know, libertarianism is its own thing. The fun series, a lot to handle, but very fun. This is the thing, is like, there's definitely the political angle, but there's also the complete nonsense metal magnet grappling hook, summon ghosts from your hand nonsense level. And that's always the bit I like. So you can just take it on that level if you want to. So yeah, that happens. We then, what do we do then? We then find ourselves in front of a... no, hang on, where do we go first? Ah, okay, yes. What we do... There's just a little sequence involving running through a building. As you're doing a lot of running through buildings and jumping on top of buildings and flying through the air. It's a whole thing. A lot of parkour in this part of the game. But yeah, you're just running through, running away from stuff. And you run through a house. Unsurprising. Well, there's a couple of sequences. I'll tell you about one of them, which I think is quite funny. You start to hear voices on radios, or not radios, like loud hailers, saying, "The false shepherd is among our city," so on and so forth. You know, believed to be a member of the Vox Populi, and then they start giving like details of what you look like, which is like you're under 5 foot tall and you look slightly Irish. Basically, just a lot of prejudices funneled into, well, he's an enemy and I don't like these people, so it must be like that. They must be different. Despite very much being a typical male video game protagonist. Yerp. And there's also a sequence where you're running through a place and it's like, yeah, 4'3" red hair. And there's a sequence where you're running through someone's house and they're like, there's a woman in there being interviewed by the police to give like a photo, well, there's like a portrait artist there drawing a picture of what the lady thinks you look like. And it just looks absolutely nothing like you. It's just like, you got really small eyes, and again, it's just like all the prejudices bundled into one. That's very but you also like the idea of anyone seriously trying to describe Jack is so funny. Yeah, Jack is having a run. He's got to find this girl and wipe away the debt. He's got stuff to do. That is literally the only thing in his brain. No thoughts head empty, just that. Instruction. Yeah, they look like he's a standard brown-haired man, not really remarkable anyway, bit scruffy. Yeah, I wish I had a transcript of what the woman is saying to the the portrait artist, because it's very silly. Anyway, you run through this building, which is, it's got like a printing press in it and stuff. And you run through the door, and normally when you run through a door into somebody's house in this game, they're like, "Oh my god!" and then they hide in the corner. Which is understandable, really. But in this one,
the door is broken.
The lock on this door is broken. Oh no! No, you literally barge in. It's fine. And you find a bunch of printing presses and stuff like that. Turns out you have found. Well, they say when you barge in, "Don't worry, we're with the Vox. You're welcome here, but please don't draw attention to us." And you see that they have printing equipment and things like that, and it turns out they're like equality campaigners, basically. How do you run? It's like that, isn't it? This is how you arm run. So there are people who are like, you know, hey, everyone should be equal and such. You find literally the only two people here who are like that. But hey, they're probably not going to be too popular for long. And they've got like a bunch of beds in like side rooms so that they can sort of house people who would otherwise not have anywhere to go and such. We find the very few nice people, it seems, as we're running through. They also, rather interestingly, have a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the wall, which I guess I'm going to have to draw because it is, I guess, somewhat important, with like a curtain over it. So yeah, there's here, and then there's a man and a woman, if I remember correctly. Obviously they're both white, because in order to do anything in this place you have to be white. They're just like, we're here to help. We're gonna have big sideburns. Why not? That's a Wilbur face. Look at that, Wilmoth. Why? Because it makes sense. And you're going to be standing behind a printing press, so so I don't have to draw you. I do have to draw a printing press, though. It's going to be a mechanical one with rollers and stuff. So yeah, I can't remember what they're called. They're printing off like pamphlets and things like that to sort of spread around and such. Big old printing press thing, and there's loads of them. There's loads of printing press machines all around printing off lots of stuff, etc, etc. And over here is a portrait. Hopefully I can draw Abraham Lincoln better than I can draw George Washington. But there's like clearly a set of curtains in front of it, just, you know, just in case anyone comes along, we can hide that. Right, Lincoln. Lincoln like Lincoln. He's got a beard like that, right? Big nose. Serious face. Big ol' hat. Big ears. The ears is going a bit Dracula there, so I'm gonna make them a bit narrower. I think that's a good approximation of Lincoln as you're gonna get from me, anyway. Draw Abraham Lincoln in 5 minutes. Again, it can't be any worse than the George Washington from before. Love that in every American-based game with American people, there has to be a portrait of a president somewhere. Just thinking of Prey with the portrait of Kennedy again. But this is the 4th president we've seen. Actually, is it the 4th president? I don't know enough about American presidents. George Washington was definitely a president. What were the other two that were there? Jefferson and someone else. There were statues after the whole baptism thing. There were some big gold statues of presidents: George Washington, Jefferson, and the key guy, Benjamin Franklin. Not Hamilton. So were they all presidents? You're gonna have a big old foofy thing. I do not know enough about American history. I probably should have read up about it before doing this draw through, really. But I do like this. The more you think about it, the wilder it is, because if you see somebody has a portrait of a Dutch prime minister in their house, you think they're insane. This is the 1918s. So, and there is reason here. We're not going to get to it yet, but there is reason. All your knowledge of American presidents comes from Hamilton. Marvelous. People with pictures of American presidents on their walls could absolutely be insane too. There are a few I could imagine seeing. I know there are some American presidents, or like modern American presidents, who are like not exactly idolized, but in certain parts of political circles, I can imagine there's some people who have like Ronald Reagan or something. In the same way that in Britain you feasibly find somebody with a picture of Margaret Thatcher. Usually divisive people. Anyway, we run through, and then we find a bar. And we run into the bar, and we meet some people in the bar. However, that's going to have to wait until next time. So yeah, we just literally just dash through. Nothing to do with here. Just run. Benjamin Franklin was one of the founding fathers, but you don't think he was a president. Okay, cool. This is why I was like, I'm not sure. Because I wasn't sure. But I was correct to be not sure. Right? Well, Jack's doing a thing now. He's not just standing still. That's something. Yeah. We're getting somewhere in the story now. We're now up to the point where most of it's just running around, so I don't have to talk about it. It's a lot of running around and jumping on buildings and hooks and stuff. But yeah. Good for Jack. Good for him. Yeah. That'll be that. You never realize you have to look up on Danish history. I mean, I don't know an awful lot about British prime ministers and stuff like that, apart from the ones that have been around since my understanding of politics. But it's basically Tony Blair onwards, and also Margaret Thatcher. But yeah, can confirm they're all gits. So dynamic, fun faces too. Always like doing this silly face. It's a good time. Yeah, I was looking back over the drawings of the first two, and I was like, every single one of these drawings of Jack is the same. Let's find something else to do. So yeah, we've the game has begun. The game has begun proper. That was quite the build-up. Took 2.5 streams to get there, but hopefully it hit home just how big an impact that scene has on your understanding of this society and on the tone of the game. You know, this is no longer everybody's pleasant and nice and having a good time. This is massive spinning hooks in your face and everyone's racist. Not just racist. This is, we have an annual tradition of throwing things at interracial couples racist. Lots of yeah. But that is a strong theme for the game. And obviously that ties in. I said at the beginning of this, there's a reason I wanted to go over this story, because I don't necessarily think it's aged great, particularly over the last 9 years since it's been out. But this isn't necessarily it. I think the introduction is very good because it's very like, boom. You know, these things could be hiding anywhere, and oh my god, it's awful. But yeah, these ideas get explored later, and I think the way that it is explored is interesting. We'll see more. There's lots more to do. Lots more to explore. I've also just realised I am going to have to learn how to draw George Washington. Yeah, because the image of George Washington does return. Not for a while, though. It's fine. They don't have to. Just draw, every time they need to draw George Washington, just draw somebody holding gum up in front of their face. Just draw sock puppet George Washington. That could kind of work for the... for what I have to use it for. That is an interesting idea for a design for something, actually, now that I think about it. I've just worked out how to make something look creepy that I don't think I've seen before. Interesting. Don't starve. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a hugely original idea. I'm just surprised I haven't seen it before. It doesn't deserve to be drawn properly. Well, that's good then, because I'm not. Yeah, so. Oh, look, Ford. So yeah, that's a stream. It's over. Almost. I will be back not on Saturday. Saturday is RPG times. So I'm going to be having fun with my own personal idiot and their idiot friend. No people with the whole political power deserve to be drawn properly. Dishonored times, yeah. I've got to read up on my notes and all that. Ford, the hero we deserved. None of that sentence is correct. Ford is, and that's about it. Hero, no. The, definitely not. Deserved, nah. And so Chris's brain was taken over by the Dark Souls creator. Of course, spooky. No, this is less Dark Souls and more... I don't know. I'm intrigued to try drawing. Hey, Capra Demon. That's Dark Souls. Yeah. So yeah, no stream on Saturday. As current plans go. If things do change, I'll let people know. But Sunday, we'll be here for draw streams with friends. And yeah. And then Tuesday, back to Brock. Should probably be the last one, actually, depending on how difficult the last two bosses are. Which is annoying, actually, because then that means the next game stream after that will be just before the Bloodborne demake is released. But yeah, we'll work it out. So I'll be back on Sunday with the stream. I assume tomorrow there might be a Chibi Nether's Day stream. Maybe more Aviary Attorney. Yeah. Good times. Chibi Nether's Day, yeah. I keep forgetting, because I say Nether's Day quite frequently, and I keep forgetting how stupid of a word it is. Like, I came up with it, which is why it's stupid. But it's become so common. It's like Gajif. I just say Gajif now. It's unironically, it's Gajif. Depends whether you have the brain power. Yeah, if you don't feel up to it, don't stream if you don't feel up to it. Even though I started the stream without the energy to feel up for it, but very quickly I got into the groove. Nether's Days Gajifs. Lovely. Tales of Sparrison and Friend. Whoever the other one is, I don't know. It's Sparrison's show. And also a fox that carries around an orchestra. Brain power needs to be considered always. Indeed. Particularly given that you're presumably, well, I was going to say, presumably planning for an RPG session, but that makes it sound like I'm expecting you to do a lot of work, and I'm not. You're good at improvising, it's fine. And Rob the Bob. Yeah. Anyway, yes, everybody have a lovely time. I'll be back on Sunday with friends. Anyone who wants to come along for those streams, do feel free. It's always a good time, and maybe we will actually sort things out beforehand as to what we're doing. Maybe not, though. We'll find out. Have a lovely time, everyone. Thank you for coming along. I hope you are enjoying this so far. Things are going to start speeding up now. And I need to actually play the game because we're not that far away from where I stopped. So
It's blocked. Maybe there's another way in.
Maybe there's another way in with a massive magnetic hook. Have a lovely time, everyone. Look after yourselves. Goodbye.